Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining this civic education workshop, part of a larger series of workshops to really encourage people to get involved with Homeboy's advocacy efforts, voter registration, voter engagement efforts. Before we start, we'll open up with Van saying a few words, and then we'll go through and do introductions of the presenters and just jump into the topics. So Van, if you want to open us up and welcome everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Fabian. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I want to speak to the members of Homeboy Industries, my community. So many of you have seen me at Homeboy. I'm Van. For those of you who have not, I just recently came out of prison around a year and a half ago, and so I'm on the government relations local organizing committee team now. But I've also been doing some of the work before. I want to talk a little bit about why I'm doing this, and also really to encourage every one of you to participate. And this is something that involves all of us. I just recently came out of prison, and I want to say that when I was sitting in that cell, I had a lot of fight in me. You know, there was just so many things that affected my life in prison, my family's lives out here, and I wished and I dreamed so much that there was something specific that I could do. But you know how hard it was in there and how hard it is in the neighborhood. But here we have a whole team of professionals, right, that we can give the guidance to help you guys do certain things that can directly affect our lives. And we have voting season, election season right now. I think it's very important that we make our voices heard. And I know a lot of us, we think that our votes doesn't matter or that things will always be the same, but that's not the case. I used to think that way, and I was proven very wrong in a very good way that I got out here because people fought and advocated and changed laws. And it wasn't overnight, it took years, but that was what it took to get me out of here. So I know the value, and it brings life in the little things that we do, which is to, first of all, just to be aware of the people who we vote to represent us, to make the decisions for us. Just know that you are not alone. We are here. It can be intimidating. I know it is for me, even though I help do this job. I want to invite you guys, talk to me, reach out to me, any one of us on the team, and we can help. Also, we have our workshops, our weekly, bi-weekly workshops. It may come up, and I'll give the notice on our page. But yeah, this is the time. This is the time to fight. You know, not just for ourselves, for our family, for our homies, for everybody that really fought for us. Right? It's all about giving back and stepping up and making a real change. And I'm excited. We have so many ballots that directly affect, you know, our everyday life right now. We'll talk about it within the workshop, but yeah, you know, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I know that you're interested. But take that step. Reach out to me. Reach out to Fabian, Jessica, anybody. We'll be more than happy to help you guys and support you guys, support us, support our whole community. Thank you, Fabian.
Thank you, Van. So before we jump into it, let's do introductions. I'll just go in order of how I see you all on the screen. So Maria Elena, do you want to go up first?
Yes, I'm Maria Elena Rodriguez, and some of you may remember me with Brett Shears as the people who used to sit there in the lobby every election time and register you to vote, both physically and virtually now. And sorry I can't be there in the lobby with you, but I will give a few short presentations on how to register yourself and your family this time around, because it's really important. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Brett, I have you next.
Yeah, along with Maria Elena, you know, I consider myself first and foremost a volunteer at Homeboy Industries with voter registration, also on the local organizing committee. But I come from Vote Allies and the Yes on Prop 17 campaigns, and those have to do with voting rights specifically for people who are formerly incarcerated. And that's where my passion comes from. But I just want to double down on something Van said. and what Maria Elena said is because we can't be in that lobby physically, we really do want to be a resource. So I'll put in my name, my phone number where you can text me, or my email address too if you want to reach out. Either way, just if you have any simple questions, because we can't be there physically, so we're trying to make ourselves available just to ask those easy questions. So please don't hesitate to reach out. You'll see my name change just really quickly, and I'll change it back, but please don't hesitate. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. Next, I have Danny.
Hey everyone, this is Danny. I'm the Director of Organizing and Membership for Californians for Safety and Justice. I'm based out of Los Angeles and working on the No on Prop 20 campaign.
Thank you, Danny. Next, Tim.
My name is Tim Cornegay. I'm an organizer with LA Voice, but I'm also part of the Homeboy Industries LLC. Currently, I'm leading the LA Free to Vote campaign that's done through the county and the Office of Diversion and Reentry, with the focus on registering individuals who haven't previously participated, and also those who have just regained their freedom and are owning their newly empowered voice.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Tim. Next, I have Donna.
Hi everyone, my name is Donna. I am with Legal Services at Homeboy and also have been honored to be part of the LOC, and I'm here to support civic engagement in any way I can.
Thank you, Donna. Next, Terrence.
Hello, my name is Terrence Stewart. I'm the statewide director of Californians for Safety and Justice Time Done Project. And what we do is we advocate for people living with past convictions, because there's over 8 million people in California with past convictions, and we face over 4,800 barriers. So what we do is try to reduce the number of people who have convictions and reduce the number of barriers that people face.
Thank you, Terrence. Van, I have you up if you wanted to add anything else from your original intro.
Yeah, I just want to add also that I did 25 years, and that was a life sentence. And when I came out, I was picked up by ICE and ordered deported. So I can't even vote right now. But I'm saying that to show you that, you know, this matters to everybody. Even though we can't vote, we can educate others. We can also vote through them, because a lot of people don't vote, right? And so if we have that voice and we can't make that vote, we can actually ask them if we can use it. Don't let it go to waste. Speak up. You know how important it is to express yourself. We do it with each other. I know that we're going through we've been through a lot of trauma, and we're working through it. And I know for a fact, in my personal experiences, that talking about things help heal me. And so the same way that we speak about these issues that affect us every day, we're trying to bring our voting rights back to people on parole. We've been successful at doing it for people on probation. So, you know, we've made great gains, and I'm not overwhelmed or discouraged by how slow the process takes. You know that a really good long fight is, you know, usually for the things that matter the most. And so, you know how crazy it is right now with the people in power, and we actually have more power than them if we exercise it. I can't express enough how important it is to contribute. You may think that just your vote or your presence doesn't matter. I know a lot of people have told me that, and this is coming from somebody who can't vote, that just my presence alone helps the whole, you know, the whole organization, the whole movement. So do whatever you can, be present, show up, show support. I need support. You know, when I see your faces here, it gives me energy. So help me, help us. Yeah, that's something that's just on my mind right now, Fabio. So thank you for letting me share that.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thanks, Van. So everybody on this call or in this presentation has been a long-term partner of Homeboy, and we appreciate you all. And hopefully when the pandemic is all over, we can have more of your presence in the building. But until then, please accept the gratitude. And now I will hand it over to Maria Elena to go through her portion.
Okay, thank you. What I will do is I've made a few digital decks that can very easily go through. The first one is, oh, I'm sorry, this is taking some time. On how to actually register to vote. Let's see if it comes up. I was just showing it to Tim earlier, so wait a minute, where are you? I'm sorry, this is taking time. Okay, here we go. All right, so here's our first deck. And I hope you can see that, everybody. Probably the easiest way to register to vote now is not on the printed forms that I used to bring to the lobby for you to fill in. Now you can do it on your cell phone, computer, or any other device. All you need is Wi-Fi or 4G mobile, and it literally takes only 2 minutes. So what you do, you need to know what is required to register to vote. And that is very simply, you must be a US citizen, be at least 18 years of age before November 3rd, election day, be a resident of California, have an address in LA County, whether some people use Homeboy's address. You must have completed parole to be eligible to vote. And to register digitally, you must have a California driver's license or a California ID card and a social security number. And then you need access to Wi-Fi or 4 or 5G space. And the last day you may register to vote digitally is Monday, October 19th. Okay, so the first thing you do is you go to a website called www.lavote.net, and the screen that comes up looks like this one. Okay, and then you will click on to register to vote right here, and that brings you to this screen. Now, if you've ever registered to vote before and you want to see if you're still registered, then you will click on this bottom button, it says check if you're registered, and that will bring up your address and all that of the last time you registered. Now, if you've moved since you last registered, you no longer live at that address, yes, you must register again. And you will click on this button that says register now, and you will enter all the information that it walks you through. And actually, when you click on to register now, it will bring you to a new screen, which I know it's confusing, but suddenly you are in a state of California, California Secretary of State website, because this is the central place in Sacramento that actually registers people to vote under Alex Padilla, who is our Secretary of State. So anyway, you will click onto that register to vote now button, and then there is a nice tutorial here. If you click onto it, that will walk you through the process step by step, and it literally takes you 2 minutes. So if you can take the time to watch that tutorial first, when you register online, it'll be a breeze. And just have your driver's license, California ID, or social security numbers handy, because you're gonna have to plug those in, enter them into the form. So this particular election, November, because of the pandemic, we are all being sent mail-in ballots for our convenience, because that means that you will not have to go directly to a polling place. You can mail it in, or you can just drop it off at a mailing center. And I have another quick deck where I will show you that. Okay, I will show you the mail-in process. Now, if I could find it. Wait. This is what we do now. Kill this one. And okay. I hope everyone can see this. Vote by mail. Is it coming up? Oh, damn it. Vote by mail. Click on screen. Share. Okay. Okay. Can everyone see that? Vote by mail. Here's another quick little presentation here. Okay, what is vote by mail? Vote by mail is also known as absentee ballot or voting by absentee ballot. So don't let them confuse you. It's the same thing. And it is basically a ballot with all the same information as you would get if you went directly to your polling place. And that is the final envelope. And the great thing is that you don't have to stand in line. You can drop it off at any polling place or voting center, or you can put it in the mail before election day and it will be counted. And another great thing is that you can vote at home. Take your time with it, vote with your friends, family members, talk about, you know, the choices that you're going to have to make or that you want to make. And just remember, you don't have to vote for every single thing on that ballot, which can be very long. Find the things that are important to you. And it's great if you're at home because you don't feel rushed standing in line or standing in a polling booth. So when you get your voting mail-in ballot in the mail, I'm sorry, this is not a very good picture, but this is all the pieces of material that you will find in that mailer. You'll get a big envelope like that right here. You'll get a ballot, which looks like this. You will get an envelope to mail it back in. And I think they even give you an I voted sticker in this now. But see, this is what you must look for in the mail. Do not throw this out. That is your ballot. So what you will do is fill out your ballot just by filling in these circles, just as you would do in a regular voting booth. And then you're gonna fold it up and you're gonna place it in the outside envelope. This is what you deliver. And this is really important. You must remember to sign your name here. This is the way most mail-in ballots don't get counted because people forgot their signature and the date that you complete it. And then if you're gonna have somebody else deliver that ballot either to the polling place for you or the voting center and not put in the mail, if you're gonna have somebody else hand it off to be counted, you must put their name here. You must authorize them to deliver it for you. Otherwise, it won't be counted. So that's something that you must remember. So it gives you a lot of choices. Drop off at the voting center or a polling place. There will be early voting from October 19th to the 30th. Or you will bring it to your polling place on election day. And the cool thing is you get to skip the line and just hand it to one of the monitors, the check-in people there. And if you want to mail it, and this is a one-time bonus this year, you don't need stamps. All mail-in ballots and envelopes are prepaid postage. So, okay, that's it. Okay. And so now there's one more way you can participate, and that is to act as a poll worker. Let's see if this deck comes up. And a poll worker is basically the monitor at the voting sites. Let's see, can you guys see this? Share the screen. It is a real job for one day, a real responsibility. I've done it, and I would highly recommend anyone who has the chance to do it to actually participate in this way. Okay, so to be a poll worker, what does that look like? Okay, early morning, you are one of the people who puts up all the signage at a voting center or a polling place. And yes, it's like 6 in the morning, very early day. And you are serving all these citizens who are coming in to vote, standing in line. Now, this picture was taken before the pandemic. It is now going to be socially distanced. All these people will be standing 6 feet away from each other. Okay, you could be a check-in person assigned to check in every voter who comes in, make sure that this is the right polling place and helps them get started. You hand them the ballots. And yes, you will probably be wearing a mask this year. And yes, this is a socially distanced place where everybody here is wearing the proper covering for safety. This is how it looks when many people are voting at once. Of course, it'll be socially distanced this year. But yes, those are the official voting booths that citizens will vote standing up in. Okay, so ultimately, when you go to vote at a polling place, you're voting on a little strip of paper like this, still filling in all the holes, and that gets counted in a ballot box here, digitally counted. And when you finish that, you get to hand that happy citizen an I voted button. So it's basically the day. So what do I need to be a poll worker? Again, US citizen, 18 years old, California resident, and if you're bilingual, we really need you. Yes, bilingual workers, any language are needed. And now this year, even high school students may be eligible. If you're at least 16 years old, you attend public or private high school, even virtually, you have at least a 2.5 GPA and permission from your parents and your school, you get the day off and you get to be a poll worker and you earn a stipend. And so what does it pay? For a full over 18-year-old poll worker, you get $100 a day from LA County, plus you get a training stipend of $80. And what kind of training do you need? There is one 5-hour in-person mandatory training session, and there is one 3-hour online training session. So it's about 8 hours of training so that you know every question, you can answer every question that anyone gives you on Voters Day. So how do I sign up for it? Well, here is a digital application form for regular and also a bilingual poll worker. And the deadline is to apply, well, hopefully before October 5th, because they have to set up the training sessions for you to sign up for. The earlier you sign up, the better chance you have of getting a most convenient training session. And if you can't do the digital application, there is a paper application here that you can fill out and fax or mail in. Okay, and that's basically it. The first time, or actually the last time I was a poll worker was 2008, which was during the Obama campaign. And it was really the most exciting, most rewarding day of my life at that point, to see what voting could change. And the one mantra that we had as members of the Obama campaign then was, we would tell people, do not accept disempowerment. Do not accept it. It is forced on you. Do not accept it. And by voting, you are saying, I do not accept what you are doing to me now. And it's very powerful. So that's my presentation. And Fabian, I think you will distribute these PDFs of these decks to people, and they can
make sure they get out.
And you can include, I'll include my email address, and anyone can contact me if they need more help. Okay.
Thank you, Marilena. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Terrence.
Mute my hello everybody. I'm Terrence Stewart. I came here. They had me to talk on Prop 20, which is the prison spending scam. And all in all, you know, I think I first must introduce myself. My name is Terrence Stewart, and I got involved in civic engagement and voting work pretty much around Prop 47, which was the Safe Neighborhoods and School Act that took money from the prison system and put it into K through 12 education, mental service, mental health, and programs for programs for victims of crimes. And like, you know, and that's how I first got involved in the movement. And like, for me, it was very important because this was the first time in my life that we could talk about criminal justice reform and divesting from the criminal justice system and investing in our communities in which we needed. And from that point, you know, that's when I realized how important my vote was. And like, you know, given the history of what's been going on with, like I said before, I advocate for over 8 million people who live with past convictions. And like, what we have noticed is that, like, you know, a lot of the times that people have been in because of tough on crime law legislation. And like, you know, this Prop 20 will be the new tough on crime law legislation for the 2020 year. And like, even in the midst that while we're fighting for our lives, you know, during COVID, we see all that's happening, and then the racial justice awakening all over the world. You know, like, you know, to have a tough on crime initiative on the ballot, it shows what people think of, like, you know, certain populations, you know, especially in efforts of all these defundment movements and the economic crisis that we may be facing. And it's a public health issue. And the way education has changed is even crazy, because like me and my daughter right here, we're sharing time because she's distant learning and talking on her computer and I'm on here. So we're trying to coordinate where we can talk at the same time. So even education is different. Everything is different right now. And, and like, to have Prop 20 come on the ballot, to understand all of this in this time, I'll have to tell you exactly what Prop 20 would do. So Prop 20 will increase prison spending. It will increase incarceration. It reduces rehabilitation, and it reduces money for victim services and other reentry programs. The first thing that it really would do, it'll lower the felony threshold to $250, which will make California the second lowest in the country. It will mandate prison for technical violations of parole. It will reduce incentives for rehabilitation that prevents parole consideration for tens of thousands of people. It will mandate anyone convicted of certain misdemeanors to give the law enforcement DNA. So they'll start to take DNA samples from misdemeanors, certain misdemeanors. And and because of that, the prison population will increase. The annual funding will reallocate it for victim services and reentry, diversion program, prevention will decline. So like if this would happen, they will increase prisons and decline programs and services that help people with post-conviction. No on Prop 20 will prohibit all the prisoners from rehabilitating themselves before release, and it will make certain crimes ineligible to earn credits towards parole consideration. So like one of the things that they keep on saying is that people are getting out early, and like, you still have to go through the parole process of going through the board. It just will give you an opportunity to see the board before. So like, they're scaring everybody, like all these people are getting out, and most people are going to get out anyway. But the question is like, will you like people that have some type of rehabilitation program attached to themselves, or cut out all of rehabilitation or access to it? So we're pushing towards that. And then they're also making California progress towards more rehabilitation with Prop 57. The Prop 57 is a measure that incentivizes people to participate in rehabilitation and educational programs while incarcerated. Prop 20 takes that away. Prop 20 increases incarceration for people with the lowest level of offenses, which reduce California threshold to a felony theft to one of the lowest in the nations. And I think it's like noteworthy to highlight that like it also creates a new crime, because now they create a whole new retail theft crime, which would like, looking at the penal code on that one, it's like, it's if you steal up to 250 over the process of a year, it ain't even just one time. It's continuous. So it's like, like going from $950 to $250, and giving all people felonies, like, that is going to increase incarceration, and also is going to put more felonies on people's records. And once you have a felony on your record, it's like I said, it's over 4,800 barriers that you face here in California alone, and 48,000 national. So Prop 47 would classify the lowest level crimes from felonies to misdemeanors, having to help the state right size of the prison's population and reallocate money to prevent victim services. I explained that a little bit earlier, but like I said, it takes money. By them changing the felonies into misdemeanors, less people were doing time, and the savings from that money were put into our communities. And how it was put into it is debatable, but it has been 13 trauma recovery centers that help victims of crime that I know personally about. Prop 20 will reverse that. The measure would mean more jail for people convicted of petty theft, and it would make such low-level crimes felonies that erect a lifetime of barriers and stable to those who convicted. So, any questions?
No, thank you, Terrence. Appreciate that. And then for those who you know may be angry at everything Terrence just said and feel how maybe some of the stuff that's been going towards providing opportunity is getting reversed a little bit. Danny will jump in and provide kind of a couple opportunities on how to get involved. Terrence, did you have your hand up? Did you want to say a few more things?
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight the same thing that Van highlighted earlier, is that like everything that that's on this bill that they're trying to take away is things that advocates have been fighting for the last 6 years. You know, like I said, I first started with Prop 47, and Prop 47 gave me a platform to speak on issues of people with past convictions. And because of that, you know, like we're talking this conversation that we can have even now today about defunding the police or divesting in the whole criminal justice system has strained from us having these conversations. And this is an attempt to take back all the hard work that we have done from everything from Prop 47 to 57 and even levels of realignment that we have worked with to implement it is all at stake right here. So man, please pay attention to this proposition that's coming up.
Cool, for sure. Thank you, Terrence. Danny, you want to share a little bit about how we can get involved?
Yeah. Thanks, Fabian. I just want to say before I get into that piece that I've been doing electoral campaigns for just over 15 years. And this is the biggest and most blatant attack on our communities when it comes to incarceration, when it comes to rehabilitation, and when it comes to reentry. It's not only rolling back a lot of the legislation that has overwhelmingly passed in California in the last 8 to 6 years, but it's also making some laws even worse than the tough on crime era. And so the difficult thing about this campaign is that the people who are pushing this initiative are using fear mongering, they're using fear, they're using, they're lying about what this can cause to invoke emotion and fear in community members to vote for it, right? And so one of the things that the great thing that we have realized is once we start talking to voters about the facts, we are able to sway them. And people, after having a conversation, 2 to 3 minute conversations with them, they lean no on 20, which is what we want. And in an era of COVID where a lot of folks are sheltering in place, there's quarantining, it's very hard to do big events for the campaign. It's also hard to do canvassing and door knocking. And so the best way that we've realized to have an intentional one-on-one conversation with people is over the phone. And so we created a brand new virtual phone banking system for this campaign to allow folks to be able, no matter where you are in the world, to be able to call California voters and be able to inform them and give them the facts about this and let them know who is putting this on, who it impacts, and how their vote matters, right? So it's everything that Maria and Terrence and Van have already talked about the importance of voting is so critical with this proposition. But it's also even more critical to make sure that we tell all of our family members, that we tell all of our loved ones, all of our community members. And if folks have an opportunity to jump on the phones with us for a couple weeks, for a couple times a week, that would be great. We're even establishing and trying to figure out how Homeboy can have like one day out of the week where folks can come together, make some calls to voters all across California, where it's going to be needed. And LA is the area where we're also going to be doing a lot of work in. So the last thing I'll say is how do you sign up? How do you do phone banking? So we're doing 2 phone bank trainings every week from now essentially to the election. Folks can sign up on a website that we have. It's neighbor.events. Neighbor.events. So if you go to that website, it doesn't necessarily have any Prop 20 stuff, but there you go to that website, you'll be able to enter your information, sign up for a training date, and then you will get a response back from us with a confirmation with the Zoom link, and then we'll be able to train you all, give you all the tools that you need to make calls to voters all across the state of California. And as we're thinking about this and potential partnerships with Homeboy, we'll be following up with ways for you all to continue to get involved. But like I said, you know, in this era, the most critical way that we are able to have intentional conversations is through phone banking and one-on-one. And so people can do that from the comfort and safety of their homes. If Homeboy provides a space, you know, we can talk about that as well. But that's something that folks can immediately start jumping on and sign up today on that website, neighbor.events. And yeah, I'll pass it over to you, Fabian.
All right, thank you, Danny. And next we have Tim to really share a little bit about what's at stake. You've heard some of the important things that are happening this November election, how to get involved, and Tim will add to that. There's a whole list of propositions. So go for it, Tim. You're on mute still, Tim.
I'm gonna do a screen share right quick
Cool.
so we can take a look at the propositions. Can everyone see that?
Yep.
Okay, so everyone already did a very good job on explaining the importance of voting. So I'll only say a little bit so you don't feel like you're being hammered over the head about how important it is. But there cannot be enough said, especially in the times that we're living in now, where we live in a country that practically a third of its population, a third of its 300+ million people have encountered the criminal justice system on some level. So that's demonstrative of how broken the system is. What voting can be when utilized in an educated manner is a tool to help fix a system in your favor, a system that currently works in the favor of those who are not kind towards those of us they say live in the margins. It's a way to step out of the shadows and value yourself. It's an investment in change, but it's an investment that comes with monitoring. I would not advise anyone to vote without the necessary follow through, because what you're doing is you're investing in your own interest, and you have a right with that vote to pursue it and ask for compliance and accountability. Do not vote for anything or anyone without an ask attached to it. These propositions, these legislative measures are our way of asking for change and the stuff that we want. When we vote and do not require compliance, then we should not be upset when we don't get what we want. It's time to let your voices be heard and not just vote. Make your vote count. Let the system that has been structured to work in a hostile manner towards people of color and folks that are broke, let the system know it's just time for change. That you're tired of being marginalized. You're tired of this term we use in the spaces, those of us that do this kind of work. You're tired of the system controlling the narrative. It's time for you to decide who you are. If you want to be justice system impacted or formerly incarcerated, all of those marginalized terms, because that's what they do, and all of them mean one thing, that you've been in handcuffs. For me, I'm neither system impacted, formerly incarcerated, or any of that. I am a newly empowered voice, and the power of my voice is the power for change. And that's how we should all feel. Or if you are free and you want a world that caters towards your needs, where you can feel safe, and safety for a lot of us is a luxury, where safety is something that you can own and know is yours, then use your vote wisely. Don't just give it away. Don't just hand it off and say, here, be my political representation, and you don't do anything for me. that's no longer the world we should live in. We should take these voices and shape the world that we're comfortable in and that can be safe for us and our families. So one of the, not the most important, but a very important proposition that's on the ballot is Proposition 15. And what Proposition 15 is, a tax reassessment that would force corporations in California to pay their fair share of taxes. Now, there are a lot of stories associated with Prop 15. It was originally termed Schools and Communities First. But what this is about is since the passing of Prop 13, corporations in California have got away with not paying an estimated $580 billion that they've stolen from the economy, that they've stolen from the schools we go to, that they've stolen from the services that we go through, and it eliminated the opportunity for some of us to be educated in a manner that will put us in position to take care of ourselves. We need that back. We need services in the community. We need different training components in schools. We need a different lens to view public safety, and Proposition 15, once we vote it in, becomes the vehicle that injects $14 billion back into the California economy. And since Los Angeles County is the biggest, Los Angeles County will be the recipient of somewhere between $3.5 and $4 billion to be allotted to the needs and services of our folks. And that's where that compliance and accountability comes in. We pass this, then we're gonna have to step up and knock on doors and say, hey, we generated this money, this is where this money needs to go. So we're not accepting business as usual anymore. Moving along to Reimagine LA, which is what it was initially caused as a motion in the Board of Supervisors. It is now Measure J. Measure J will change the county charter in Los Angeles in perpetuity, meaning forever, until the voters go back and undo it. Once this passes, this will take from the county budget, from the general fund, $900 to $1.6 billion and direct it towards community-based organizations. We'll direct it towards a different look at public safety, a different look at services, and this will be an automatic allotment and money that law enforcement will not have access to. Do we need this? Absolutely. But once again, I will attach accountability and compliance. We must make sure that these funds are directed in the manner that they were intended. Moving down to Proposition 16, it repeals Prop 209, which was an attack on affirmative action. 209 gave companies the right to discriminate in a particular manner. It was supposed to undo, but what it did, it fixed the level of discrimination, and we're trying to undo that, because an individual should not be discriminated against in the workplace or receiving any services just because the color of your skin, the language you speak, or the origin of your birth. It is unfair and it needs to change. Prop 17, which will resonate with a lot of us with a degree of importance, will restore the right to vote for individuals who are currently on parole. Right now, you cannot vote until you discharge your parole. Proposition 17 was originally a Free the Vote campaign. It has now been named 17. Once we vote and pass this, individuals who are on parole will be eligible to vote. And currently there's about 50,000 individuals in the county who are on parole, who do not have their right to vote. And there's no reason why the right to vote should be disenfranchised, other than there are folks in the history of this country, this state, that felt certain individuals who were always incarcerated at higher rates. I don't need to say who they are because we know who they are. They're us. To disenfranchise us and keep us from participating in the political process. We want our right to participate back, and that's how we get it. 18 is to give individuals who are 17 years old before they turn 18 the right to register to vote. And they will be able to do so as soon as they turn 18. It's important. It's important for our younger generations to be politically educated and know how important that they are, so they can change the world that they're walking into and design it in a manner that caters to, their best selves, their best lives, their best interests. Proposition 19 is it changes the tax assessment for inheritance rules. So most of us, unfortunately, we won't be wealthy at the time of, us to meet our maker. So you know who that applies to. It's for folks who are well-to-do, and it changes the way the tax assessment and the way they transfer wealth. Prop 20, we got all the information on that. And what I would say about that, along with the conversation from Danny and from Terrence, is to be scared. Be afraid that if this proposition does not get defeated, we will be catapulted into the past, into the 90s and the birth of the 3 strikes law, and the prison population in California will explode. That particular proposition is so wicked. There are individuals who would have never been in handcuffs, who have never been in jail, who don't even know that they're breaking the law, will wind up in jail. And it is so wicked. Terrence touched upon it. They have created a time span where they can combine misdemeanors with a different monetary value. And if it adds up to over $250, you will be charged with a felony, even if they occur over a period of months. So this is something that is a trap. It is a trap that will catch a lot of us the same way 3 strikes did, and we'll be scratching our head trying to figure out what happened and how to undo it. And if it is a revisit to the past, we have yet to be able to undo the damage that was done to us, to our communities by 3 strikes. We do not want to have to go through that again. Prop 21 is a repeal of Acosta-Hawkins, which basically gives local municipalities the power to enforce some degree of rent control, which is important, critically important for those of us who haven't been able to become homeowners and pay these enormous amounts of rent that's equivalent to a mortgage when we know we are not getting a place to live that matches the amount of our finances we have to spend to live there. Prop 25 is the bail referendum. There is no way that I can explain this in a logical manner. All I can do is say, do your research and vote in your best interest. But please keep that on on your radar, because it is the difference between I'll be out soon and I don't know when I'm getting out. So consider that. And lastly, and importantly, is the LA District Attorney race. For those of us who think the DA is just that person that's sitting on the other side of the table in court with us when we are over arrested, overcharged, and penalized in the manner that we have committed heinous crimes but may not have done anything but a crime of need, that is not the DA, that is the deputy DA. That is the person under the Los Angeles District Attorney that follows the practices and procedures set by the DA. The DA is the top cop in Los Angeles County, hands down. He or she is the one who decides how an individual is charged, how they are prosecuted, and what laws get priority in the county. We have a chance in LA County and this November election to elect a DA that isn't a law enforcement friendly personality. We have the choice or the chance to elect a DA that is progressive and is willing to have a platform that is not designed to over criminalize the 3 Bs. And the 3 Bs to me are individuals who are Black, brown, and broke. Yeah, I mean, it's our chance. Current DA in the position that this person is in has been the official in knowledge that law enforcement has been responsible for 602 deaths in LA County, and not one law enforcement officer has been prosecuted for a shooting in or out of policy. So is that an indication that our lives have no value, or is that an indication that our lives do have value, but the person who's in office just does not care and favors law enforcement over us? We have the opportunity to change that. And for those reasons, every last one of them from 15 down to the LADA race is why your vote is critically important. You get to contribute how all this happens. Vote strong, vote wisely, vote in a manner that's helpful to you, your family, and your community. Okay, that's it.
Cool, thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. It's a lot of information. So next, I want to call on Brett. He had some stuff to share, and then Van to kind of close us out and talk a little bit about how the homeboy community specifically, anybody else watching included, but homeboy trainees and homeboy staff can get involved at homeboy, and what opportunities exist to get involved there. So Brett first, and then we'll go to Van for that portion.
I just wanted to offer, another resource. Maria Elena shared that video, so I just put in my name a short link to that video so everyone can see it. I know some may get the documents, but I want people to be able to find that video right away because it's such a useful resource about how to register to vote. So I'll put that in my name again. But also, I am here. I'm not going to promote a particular campaign. I know we are trying to do it, but I am from the Yes on Prop 17 campaign, and everyone talked about how important it is. So if you want more resources for that, definitely check out the website. It's yeson17.vote, V-O-T-E. That's the official campaign website. So, I'm also happy to answer anyone's questions about that particular campaign, but mostly I do want to focus on making sure people know their rights, get registered, and I'll put my contact info back up, but I just wanted to put that website info as well. That's it.
Cool, Van. Thank you, Brett.
Yeah, I just want to get a clarification really quickly on what Danny and also Maria Elena talked about. So with the poll worker, you have to be a citizen, right? And with the phone banking, I'm sorry. With the poll worker, you have to be an LA resident, and with phone banking, you don't.
Yeah, I'll just say for phone banking, it could be anybody. Anybody, you know, it's virtual. All you need is a laptop with internet, and it's just having conversations, calling people. So you don't need any type of qualifications or anything. As long as you are able to go through a training and then do it, you know, it's volunteer. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, is it volunteer or paid?
But it's for the No One Prop 20 phone banking is volunteer.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah. So, you know, everybody viewing this video, you can see the wealth of knowledge and resources that we have available. Everybody on here. But I also want to let you guys know that we at Homeboy Industries, we have a voter registration booth in front of the building, or right now it's in the front, right, Fabian?
Yeah, right outside. There'll be an organization tabling there every other Wednesday.
Okay, but yeah, so we're trying to cover all bases, trying to help in any way that we can to make it as easy as possible for you guys. All of the links that we have on here on this video, as well as the booth. So the booth, I should be there every other Wednesday. Let me see. The last one we had was yesterday, the 8th, the 9th. So it's every other week. So it's not next Wednesday, but the one after that. And so we'll be having that until November, is it, Fabian?
Yep.
Yeah, but either way, we're there. I should be there. Damien from Headcount, they're in partnership with us with this effort. So just show up. If you have any questions, show up. We'll walk you through the process. If you don't want to hit us up through email or phone calls, we're there. You know, we're there at the facility, and I'm looking forward to having anybody show up. Just show up, hang out, ask questions, and help with this effort. Like we need to make these changes for us. Thank you, Father.
Thank you, Van. Anybody want to add anything else before we close? All right.
Oh, let me add
go for it.
But your homeboys is already going to like discuss it with the clients to just dial in to our voter registration day event, September 22nd. The information should be available to all the homeboys and trainees and individuals associated with the program. Show up because it's a event specifically for the newly empowered voices, for us to get together, talk about some of the stuff we talk about, and have a little fun and do some communicating with each other.
For sure. Thanks, Tim. And then we'll be getting some posters out and some flyers at the building there at headquarters at Homeboy. So everybody will have that information for sure.
Okay.
Just go ahead, Maria Elena.
You're on mute, Maria Elena.
Can I ask if there is going to be a provision for maybe navigators to help all of their trainees at least register to vote? And can I make one last suggestion? And that is, Tim is talking about accountability. Basically, is a good word for sort of the buddy system. One thing I'd like to encourage is that everyone feels stupid at election time, and that's rich people and poor people. Everybody feels stupid because it's too much information at once. If I can suggest that everybody who feels intimidated, go find an accountability buddy and divide up the ballot. You don't have to vote for everything, but inform each other So one guy studies one thing or a couple of things and you study another thing. Educate and coach each other, help each other vote. Because there's nothing like feeling alone in this whole process. I mean, get together over breakfast, do it with somebody or do it over the phone, but don't be alone in this. That is the worst thing for voting, to feel like you're the only one who feels stupid and alone. Don't do it. Safety in numbers, and it can be a lot more fun that way. That's it.
Fabian.
Go for it, Van.
Yeah, thank you, Maria Elena. So just to be clear, on the Wednesdays where we have the booth in front of Homeboy Industries, it is 9 a.m. to noon. So we have 3 hours there. And so the next one we should have is the 23rd. And the 23rd, let me see. And then the 7th. So it's every other Wednesday. So I don't know when you guys will watch this video, but the 23rd will be the next one. 9 a.m. to noon.
Cool. Terrence, go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight the point that multiple people said, like Van, Maria, and Tim, and Danny, is that, like, you know, one thing she said, voting together, but that's what we all got to do, because like what we're trying to do is build power to help build the political muscle to change the things that we need to change. And voting is one of the tools. And the more that we vote together as a unit, is that when we go to meet with these elected officials and everybody else, we show that we have some type of voting power, and that if they want to continue to stay in office and stuff like that, they have to recognize our platform. And us as formerly incarcerated people, like I said, there's over 8 million people who in California living with past convictions. So like, just imagine that as a voter block, you know, and like, you know, especially in reference to all the things that we face day to day, all the barriers and everything else, you know, this is an opportunity for us to start to push the change that we need in our lives, that we know that we face day to day, for that enable us from doing what people do every day normally, and we have to go through all types of different obstacles. So like, you know, the fact that we can, like, you know, build voters and work in unity with it, when we go and start to talk to people, we could say that we have this many people registered to vote and this many people, you know, who voted on this, and then we're actually a part of the change, because it's going to take all of us and so voting on a united front, you know, in essence, to make change for our communities. You know, I just wanted to highlight that.
Cool. Thank you, Terrence. All right. So that concludes our workshop. Appreciate everybody, and we'll get this out. Thanks all. Take care.
Thank you.
Take care,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye. Okay.